The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 27th, 2019, and this week, Too Little Goo Late and Robo-Judge. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about other news with Canary Cry views.
That's right. And today, Gonz, I want to start with the Flippy update because they've finally done it.
They've done it. They always say that.
They've done it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. They've done it again. Flippy is now armed with lasers. So that's nice.
Oh.
We've talked about Flippy, our disembodied robot arm friend who is popping up in all sorts of different ways and shapes with different jobs and emotions. And now here's a Wired article, but I'm going to skip all of it and say they've got Flippy picking apples now, and he does it with lasers. And here's an interesting paragraph. The robot, parenthetical, it's thus far nameless, in case you were wondering. Well, have I got a name for you, robot company? So I'm officially dubbing this robot and changing its legal name to Flippy. And it was developed by a company called Abundant Robotics. Navigates the rows between apple trees using LiDAR, which paints the world with lasers and images the fruits with machine vision. Quote, and this is my favorite part of the article, in real time, it's recognizing apples. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, says Dan Steer. We finally done it, folks. We got there. We can now recognize apples in real time. He's the Dan Steer, CEO of Abundant. If it's ripe, then the computer system sequences it for a robotic arm to pick. Maybe not so much as pick, but slurp. The arm uses a vacuum tube to suck the delicate fruit off the plant. That's kind of a...
That's a weird description.
Sentence. I don't like it. The apple then hits a conveyor, which ferries it into a bin. The robot can do this 24 hours a day, scooting up and down the rows of the orchard, skipping not quite ripe fruits to return to later, as a human picker would. So watch out, apple pickers. Robots coming for your jobs. It can recognize apples in real time.
Wow.
And there you go. That's your Flippy update. Earth-shattering, world turning upside down news about the most recent robotic arm here to take our jobs and our families.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
Is that a new one?
That's a new one.
I like that one.
Yeah. It'll all make sense.
That sums up a lot about how I feel about
I think it'll be a regular on the show. It's just, it's one that... And the origin of that we will cover in something in the future. So
yeah, play it again.
Leave it there.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
Love it. Okay. Speaking of which, Gonz, we talked last week or the week before about pitting artificial intelligence against humans in a fun game.
Yeah.
Which ended up just making the humans hate the robots more and more, which was not a good sign for robots in the coming future.
No.
Especially our apple-picking robots. It's going to cause a revolution, but they've brought it to the next level.
Yep. So this is androidpit.com. Is it a bird? Wow. Is it a bot? New contest tests algorithms against animals.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you would have more of a reaction.
You know, it's one of those sentences that you want to react to, but you know that you kind of get lost in a fantasy of like a robot v animal fight club.
Where there's even psychological, some kind of weird psycho-spiritual thing going on.
Yeah. But tell me more. Tell me more about this.
AI
my
is
new obsession.
AI is advancing at a rapid rate, and a common sci-fi scenario that fascinates commentators is the possibility that an AI will become smarter than a human. As we've previously described, artificial intelligence works very differently from a human brain, but the dream is still to have an AI with a high general problem-solving intelligence. But before we get there, AI will have to take on the animal world. So they're starting at the bottom of the totem pole there. It's
kind of like they have to work their way up the combat ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
Human beings.
Yeah. We humans sit at the top, and it must reach us by clawing its way. Yeah.
First, you must prove yourself against this parakeet.
Can our most cutting-edge AIs outsmart a bird, a rat, or a chimp? That's the question that the Animal AI Olympics, a new contest that will begin in June, seeks to answer. I think we have exclusive rights to coverage on that, by the way.
Yeah, it begins in June.
Play by play.
I know what I'm doing in all of June.
Just block out June. Don't expect any episodes. Just straight Basil straight from the Animal AI Olympics.
Live coverage.
Reporting minute by minute update.
Oh my gosh, we should figure out where this is.
Well, this contest, a collaboration between the University of Cambridge's Liverloom Center for the Future of Intelligence and Prague-based research institute Good AI, aims to, quote, benchmark the current level of various AIs against different animal species using a range of established animal cognition tasks. $10,000 in prizes stand to be awarded to the winners. Which the AI will go blow on, at the bar or something.
If I were to try to kickstart the money to go to Prague, to go to the Animal AI Olympics, it would cost more than the grand prize of the Animal AI Olympics.
That is true. Unless you can just, if we can figure out a way to find a robot avatar over there and you can just steer the robot. And you can do it. You can report it that way. That's cutting edge.
I've never wanted to go to an event more than I want to go to the Animal AI Olympics. If anybody out there has been thinking of a good way that would help humanity and the world and the deeper, more existential focus of our lives, and you're going to be getting your tax return here soon. I've got a great idea for you.
This ain't no game, though. AIs have been enjoying a good year when it comes to competing against humans, reaching milestone events like DeepMind's Triumph and StarCraft 2, and even complex physical games like Jenga. Video games are great for training AIs and have produced great results, yet even complex games like StarCraft have basically produced artificial intelligence that excels in acting within the closed box of the game's rules. Put the AI in an unfamiliar situation or environment, and it usually fails to apply anything from the skills it learned getting good at a specific task. This is why newer AI training courses are using randomly generated environments to help AI get better at adapting to new situations. To take on the natural world, AIs would have to demonstrate a much more flexible kind of general intelligence characteristic of humans and many animal species too. You say bird-brained like it's a bad thing, but birds aren't real. So what are we talking about? While us humans like to pat ourselves on the back for our own smarts and rightly value our advanced technology, it's important not to underestimate our animal friends. There's a video here showing a crow solving problems straight out of Aesop's fables, in which a crow figures out that it can access food in a container of water by placing rocks into the container, displacing the water and causing the food to rise to the top. On the other hand, sometimes animals aren't so great at problem solving and get stuck on things, like the dog who can't pass through the gap with the big stick.
Oh, you big old dummy.
Yep. So how smart are crows? Well, there's a video here again of the crow there. Crows have a deserved reputation for intelligence, being good problem solvers and tool users. They can also recognize faces, another area in which AI has made great strides, and even conspire with each other and coordinate group activity. Then there's chimpanzees. The higher primates, of course, are cousins whose intelligence may be most similar to our own thanks to genetic closeness and the ability to manipulate objects with their hands, something that we're also training AIs to do, hence the Jenga training. But even animals with very different brains and bodies from ourselves, such as octopi, have displayed general intelligence and crafty problem-solving abilities that put most advanced AIs to shame. That's not even counting invertebrates like ants and bees, whose swarm intelligence is being studied to help develop self-driving cars.
Ooh.
So there you go. And then it shows a video of an octopus using some tools. So would you bet on a bird or a bot? In June, the Animal AI Olympics go live, and the project will release training environments and objects based on animal abilities for AI to practice with and learn from. But to display general intelligence, the tests for the actual contests will be different enough from the training environments so that the AI can't just repeat what it learned, but needs to apply its training to a new situation. The final results should be available in December, so by then we'll have a good idea of whether modern AI is indeed smarter than a crow, dog, or chimp.
Yeah.
What do you think will be the outcome? Have you seen any AI with high general intelligence? Do you think we're close to developing AIs that can match animals in this regard? What do you think, Basil?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to Canary Cry News Talk.
Well, my initial statement stands. I've never wanted to go to an event more than I want to go to this event. Is
it an event, or is it just people doing tests in a lab?
No, it looks like an
data?
event.
Okay.
They're going to release the training courses, basically, for if you have an AI, you can put it through their training courses, and it should teach it enough so it could actually operate within the context of the event. But what is very interesting about this is when we talk about AI, a lot of us are thinking about AGI.
Right.
And we try to make that distinction as often as we can. The thing I love about this is they're actually testing AGI, which is, the artificial general intelligence, which is get your robot, put it in a completely new situation, and let it just figure itself out.
Yeah.
And that's actually a more of a big deal than whatever, the AI in your phone or, the alleged AI.
Right, because it's developing. What's emerging is sort of sophisticated. Like it's not entirely deconstructible by humans because it's unique to that, to the environment and whatnot.
So that'll be very interesting. I think more than anything, this sets a good benchmark, because we talk about animals. We're like, oh, a dog is as smart as a 3-year-old or something. Actually, I think they're dumber than that. I think like pigs and dolphins are as smart as 3-year-olds or 7-year-olds or whatever. We measure the animal intelligence by, how
general human intelligence. Yeah,
general human intelligence, usually too young to even, I don't know, take the lid off of a sippy cup. But so this will be actually very interesting. This might be, in my opinion, some of the most valuable benchmarking on AGI that we can even, or that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and
so
it's
I'm
public
super
too,
excited
so
about
that's
this.
Kind of good that we can kind of keep track of it.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out. They didn't say it would be like streaming or anything.
Yeah.
At least we got to get a stream on this sucker.
You really just want to help sponsor this event.
Dude, I want to go to Prague and go to this. Come on. Somebody, I'm gonna put out an account number and just see if people put in their tax return. Okay, let's. You ready to move on?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, we got some exciting stuff here. This is the real deal stuff. First, we're gonna start out light with a story from the BBC.com, and I'll just let you play any jingle you want right now.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
Yeah. Okay, this is BBC.com. Google announces AI ethics panel. Google has launched a global advisory council to offer guidance on ethical issues relating to artificial intelligence, automation, and related technologies. The panel consists of 8 people and includes former U.S. Deputy Secretary of State and a University of Bath associate professor. The group will, quote, consider some of Google's most complex challenges, the firm said. The panel was announced at MIT Technology Review's MTech Digital, a conference organized the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. We've got AI writing this article, I think. Google has come under intense criticism internally and externally over how it plans to use emerging technologies. In June 2018, the company said it would not renew a contract it had with the Pentagon to develop AI technology to control drones. Project Maven, as it was known, was unpopular among Google's staff and prompted some resignations. In response, Google published a set of AI principles it said it would abide by. They included pledges to be socially beneficial and accountable to people. The Advanced Technology External Advisory Council, or ATAC, will meet for... So catchy. ATAC. Will meet for the first time in April. In a blog post, Google's head of global affairs, Kent Walker, said there would be 3 further meetings in 2019. Google has published a full list of the panel's members. It includes leading mathematician Boubacar Ba, former U.S. Deputy Secretary of State William Joseph Burns, and Joanna Bryson, who teaches computer science at the University of Bath, UK. It will discuss recommendations about how to use technologies such as facial recognition. Last year, Google's then head of cloud computing, Diane Green, described the facial recognition tech as having inherent bias due to the lack of diverse data. In a highly cited thesis entitled "Robots Should Be Slaves," which has a sister thesis called "All Robots Should Be Female," Miss Bryson, not the only one who thinks that. I'm going to get in trouble if I keep saying that. Ms. Bryson argued against the trend of treating robots like people. Quote, "In humanizing them," she wrote, "we not only further dehumanize real people, but also encourage poor human decision-making in the allocation of resources and responsibility." In 2018, she argued that complexity should not be used as an excuse to not properly inform the public of how AI systems operate. When a system using AI causes damage, we need to know we can hold the human beings behind that system to account. So, Google is putting together the High Tribunal of AI.
Yeah.
And it's got some pretty impressive names on the list.
Yeah, but do you think it's too little too late? Somebody's screwing something into the wall all of a sudden. Sorry, that sounded very strange. Maybe.
But I woke up to somebody screwing something into the wall just next door, too.
Like really loud, too. I don't know if the mic caught it with the sound.
I heard it a little bit, but that's okay.
That's insane. But yeah, it's very distracting. It's very interesting because, as we've talked about, as we've seen, the AI thing is just all over the place now. They're applying it to so many different industries and so many different places. Now Google is like, oh, we have to put we got to put a council together, and what? Just so that there's somebody that takes the fall publicly.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, first and foremost, it's just to get the liability off of them to be making these decisions.
Right.
You know, it's much easier to defend a decision you make if you're like, well, the High Council said it was okay.
Yeah.
More bureaucracy, please.
So that's the number one. I do like that they referenced this paper. The robots should be slaves.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're dealing with here. You know, there's a huge push to take robots past the level of serving humans.
Yeah.
And it's weird. You know, I think it's kind of a natural thing, although there's a lot of, we like to sort of track the personalities behind that push. But yeah, there's this obsession with making robots lovable.
Yeah.
Or humanizing, or, should it be a male or a female name?
Yeah.
Well, if it's, voice. And so, I totally agree with this robots should be slaves thesis. Now, to be fair, I have not read the thesis in detail, but
I was going to say that there's just real brief, and this is obviously that you can, go through the whole paper right there. You can click on the link and we'll leave the links. But there's a section in here that talks about how she makes the distinction between robots should be slaves. She clarifies it. She says, I'm not saying robots should be people you own. What she means is robots should be servants you own. And she has some principles here, 4 principles. Having servants is good and useful, provided no one is dehumanized. Number 2, robots can be a servant without being a person. 3, it is right and natural for people to own robots. And 4, it would be wrong to let people think that the robots are persons. So
that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, we've talked about the personhood problem for years.
Yeah, exactly.
When we start treating our toaster like it's our little sister or something, it's just weird. It's psychotic.
Well, it is psychotic. It is.
True
it's strange.
mental problems.
It's strange because it's like there's a part of I think there's a part of both of us that's like, yeah, whatever you're into, man, like just don't hurt other people or whatever. But then at the same time, it's like, it's dehumanizing to yourself.
I think it inherently it hurts other people when you start equating. We've had a few articles on the show about like this cuddly robot makes friends with your child and teaches it how to read good.
Like in Japan, it's like the whole the whole industry of robot dogs, that a whole generation that had to die, and they're all sad. Remember, the elders were all upset because they discontinued the robot or whatever, so they were all going to shut down.
Unbreakable emotional connections with these machines.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. When you start treating robots like humans, it's more, you at the same time will start treating humans as if they were robot people.
Right.
I'm not saying you're going to treat other people like a toaster, but you're going to treat them as if they were just another friendly robot.
My toaster would never burn the toast like you.
My toaster's in jail right now.
Everybody, Basil needs a toaster before he travels to...
No, I'll trade in all my toasters if I can go to Prague. My toaster needs to compete in the Animal AI Olympics. So there you go. And of course, Google putting together their high tribunal of AI. I mean, this is just... more than anything, it's liability. They're just going to continue doing what they're doing. Remember, they're a corporation. They're a global corporation who basically rules the world. All they care about is profits and maintaining power. Like, we can't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ignorant to lose sight of that fact. The only reason that they're putting this tribunal together is because it will be profitable in the long run. They're not doing it for any other reason besides it's good business.
Yep, and creates another layer of, again, we talked about bureaucracy, and at least there's some kind of human layer there, though, I mean, we've never had that before. So, at least there's some place to go, but I'm not too hopeful. It's going to change a whole lot.
Yeah, with our last few minutes here, let's talk about some other good business.
Yep.
We all know
Speaking of the beast system.
Sorry there.
We all know that that's okay. The justice system is I was just going to make a hard-hitting point that the justice system is also just another business, man. Bro, wake up, sheeple.
Well, last week, or maybe the week before that, I think it was last week, we talked about how certain countries were, I think, what was it, over 50% of people wanted AI or robots to replace politicians.
In Europe. Yeah, it was a quarter overall. A quarter of people in Europe wanted AI to lead the EU.
Right.
And that number
what was
got
the country
as high
that was,
it was like Portugal or something. No, it was the Netherlands.
No.
41% of the Netherlands wants an AI robot to rule the country or rule the EU.
Well, this is from futurism.com. Estonia is building a robot judge to help clear legal backlog.
We're finally doing it.
Yay. The Estonian Ministry of Justice has officially asked Ott Velsberg, the country's chief data officer to design a robot judge to take care of backlog of small claims court disputes, Wired reports. The AI-powered judge is supposed to analyze legal documents and other relevant information and come to a decision, though a human judge will have an opportunity to revise those decisions. The project is a striking example of justice by artificial intelligence.
Oh, no.
That doesn't sound dystopic at all. Estonia, a tiny northern European nation of fewer than 1.4 million inhabitants, has made impressive strides in digitizing, streamlining, and modernizing its government functions. Estonia famously launched its e-residency program that allows practically anybody, including foreigners, to access Estonian government services. Its digital national ID smart card blazed the trail of national generation government-issued IDs despite its significant security vulnerabilities. Wow. Yeah, just go on with it. Who cares?
Yeah.
And it's not just the court system that's getting AI overhaul in the country. In fact, AI already has automated a number of government functions. It's scanning satellite images with algorithms to determine if subsidized farming operations are following government-mandated rules. AI algorithms are even scanning the resumes of laid-off workers to find them jobs.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Full on dystopia.
Powered by AI. It wouldn't be the first time an algorithm has taken care of legal issues. For instance, a UK-based chatbot helped overturn over 100,000 parking tickets in London and New York. But it does mark the power of AI and how it could not only streamline government operations and clear up backlogs, huge backlogs, if that is we find and overcome the biases inherent in today's automation algorithms.
Wow.
Oy, oy, oy.
Estonia is just sort of like the
playground.
It's the experiment. Yeah, it's the sandbox, it's interesting. I mean, Estonia is an interesting country. It's relatively advanced in technology. It's not quite like I don't know what you'd think. I mean, I guess what the decades old thought of sort of Eastern Bloc countries are sort of considered as, I don't
Are you talking about Russia?
No. Well, I mean, Russia's little neighbors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Ukraine, Estonia, Romania, those, we Americans don't know much about these countries.
Yeah. The small Uzbekistan, all those countries.
Yeah. Things like that. And we only know about Kazakhstan because of Borat.
I had a roommate in college from Uzbekistan, which is why I dropped.
Oh, that's very interesting
reference there. Yeah.
So, here you go. Estonia, the sandbox of whatever movement or power structure is trying to figure out how to put robots in control of everything. Judges, AI judges, robots deciding your small claims courts there.
This is going to be bad, too, in terms of every time you go by a street light and you might have gone through a little, that kind of thing. If the cameras if they can go through all the backlog, that's man.
Well,
it
in
also in the United States, all the cameras on the street corners. My goodness, do you know how many tickets would be served up?
Yeah. Well, now you're talking some full on Skynet stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it also opens up the opportunity if you can sort of figure out how the AI judge is making decisions. You can tailor your police report or your claim or your filings with the right language and sentence structure to trick the algorithms into giving you favor.
Yeah, but at that point, it's already shaping your behavior.
It's pretty deep conspiracy, but you could do it.
It's already shaping your behavior, though, dude.
Tito, bleep, blop, bleep. And with that, everybody, I'm going to remind you that we record our extended reports every single week. If you want a whole new episode of Canary Cry News Talk, you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT. Again, that's patreon.com/CCNT. We'll be recording an extended report right now. And this week, we're going to be talking about AI mapping the universe. Pence is demanding that NASA get back to the moon in 5 years or else. And McDonald's is getting into big data and what that means for the nanobots in your burger. So head on over to patreon.com/CCNT to get access to the cool bonus episodes. And if y'all have people in your life who are not keeping up on their real news, the real hard-hitting stuff, you can go ahead, grab them by the face, shake it, rattle their cages.
I'm for the robots.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Estonia.
Stop this progress before it is too late!
That's right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
That was good, Slim Jim.